Welcome to Plastic Model Mojo, a podcast dedicated to scale modeling as well as the news and events around the hobby. Let's join Mike and Kentucky Dave as they strive to be informative, entertaining, and help you keep your modeling mojo alive.
Oh, yeah, Kentucky Dave.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, what do you say we just cut out this model sphere section this episode? Because, I mean, we haven't done anything in the last 2 weeks or gone anywhere.
Speak for yourself, but I know it's not even true for you. Man.
Woo!
Man, well, I'll say it for my model sphere, but I'm going to ask you, dude. Well, no, I'll preface this.
Go ahead.
You know, we both had to come up for air to even get to the Nationals.
Yes.
And then I had to go back underwater as soon as I got back into town.
I know. Well, I kind of did, not to the level you had to, but yeah.
I think it's finally over on Sunday. The day we're recording this is actually 1 week since we returned home from the IPMS National Convention in Hampton, Virginia.
Yep.
And man, I tell you what, let's just get into it, brother. What is up in your model sphere?
Best dang week of the year, every freaking year. Every time I go, I say it was the best one yet. And it was...
Well, don't say it this time, even if it was.
It was. It just had an awesome time. Other than the downside of you having to drive the whole way both ways.
You know, that's okay.
Other than that, I mean, just, you're visiting the world's largest traveling hobby shop, which this year was incredible. Model contest, fantastic. Facility, great. Getting to spend 4 and 5 days with guys that, many of which this is the only time we get to see them during the year.
Almost. Well, a lot of them, yeah. But
yeah, it emphasizes to me once again, guys, get to model contest. The contest is the least important part of it. Get to the contest. You'll connect up with people who have very similar interests. Some people you may interact with online, others that you've never met before. We met, a dozen or more people that we had never interacted with at all, where we had just really interesting conversations. And yeah, my model sphere is full. I got nothing else to say other than my model sphere is full. The moment I got home, I was depressed because it was over, and I can't wait for next year. And it's 360 freaking days away or whatever.
You'll make it, man. You'll make it.
I may not, but what a great time. How about you? Did you enjoy yourself?
I did. You know, we wondered if we're going to get to go. You were tossing around the idea after we got there that you were kind of on the fence, at least part of the time there.
I was.
At the last minute. And
I was.
We're kind of a package deal. So if you'd have bailed, I'd have probably not gone either.
Yeah.
But.
Well, that's what made me go. I mean, thank God I was committed. Because, life has just been coming at both of us so hard for the last 4 or 5 months but I needed it. I am so glad I went. I needed that. And I think you did too.
Well, I did. I had 2 weeks and some of it's still going on. This moving my sons.
Yeah.
Which is almost done. For the most part, the moving's done. Yeah. School starts for those guys. One of them next week, the other one the week after. Because the freshman's got some non-class stuff he's got to do for a week. But that's all said and done. But, I came back from the Nats and we're faced with the SpaceX 33 launch, prepping for that. I mean, there was stuff going on while I was gone, and I was keeping up with it on Slack while we were at the show. So, I got right back into that when I got home, and that all got shipped out the door today. So it's time to relax a little bit and think about finally what happened last week.
Man, that's the other thing. It happened in the blink of an eye.
It did.
We got there Wednesday, and the next thing I knew, we were closing up the Airbnb on Sunday morning.
Well, that's I guess the Airbnb kind of is the focal point of what I would have to say is that it's just really amazing. And I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. It's basically, we spent 4 nights in an Airbnb.
Yep.
With 3 guys we didn't even know 3 years ago.
Yep.
And gave one of them copious amounts of money to help make that happen.
Yep.
And it all worked out.
And it worked out. It was Now, if you get an Airbnb disaster, I could see how that could be bad. But we got a really good Airbnb, and it was just perfect for what we needed.
Well, I think my point is it's how fast those friendships have developed and
Yes.
how deep they already are, and the trust and the mutual understanding. And
Yep.
And I think you're talking about being around like-minded people, and I think that's what facilitates that. And it was just a lot of fun. You know, I guess if I had any regrets, it would be that our typical dojo activities after hours at the National Convention were much muted and subdued. I think part of that was, well, one, we were at the Airbnb instead of the host hotel. So we had other people involved,
right?
Which would have probably been open to some of it most of the time, which is great. And we did it one night, but we've played with fire twice.
Right.
And I think we're going to come up with something different, but we're not quite there yet. This was a lot of fun, and I liked it because, you know, we weren't up till 3 a.m. every night and what have you, and didn't come back nearly as tired.
No, it was fantastic.
But work took care of that this week. So.
Yeah, you and me both, brother. You and me both.
So my model sphere is really just trying to get my wits back about me and figure out what the heck happened last week, and
but
we'll talk about some of that as we get on into the episode. But you know, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we went. I'm glad the Airbnb worked out with our friends, and just was great to see everybody at the show.
Well, and you're fired up to model, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I just need maybe that's what I'll do this week.
There you go.
I didn't do any last week.
Yeah.
Well, that's my model sphere, Dave.
Good. I almost feel stupid asking you if you got a modeling fluid, because we have some very generous listeners, and we came home with ridiculous amounts of modeling fluid. So what modeling fluid do you have, Mike?
Well, and I'll remind you to save the details for the end, but I am sipping on some Uncle Nearest 1884 small batch whiskey.
Oh. Can't wait to hear about that.
This was gifted to us by the amazing Bill Moore.
Yep.
From Middle Tennessee. What do you got, my friend?
I have Medallia Premium Light, a beer out of Puerto Rico, courtesy of listener Hector Colon. And Hector, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank all of you, but thank you for tonight's modeling fluid.
Yeah, we'll get to the rest of it in the coming 8 to 9 weeks.
Exactly. 8 to 9 episodes.
8 to 9 episodes, so more like 18, 20 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll get caught up on these at the end, Dave.
Yep. So do we have any listener mail?
We do, because we took some time off. We got a little bit of a backlog that we're going to work through tonight, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Yep, me too.
Well, I'm just going to dive in, man.
Go ahead.
First up, Dave, is Spencer Talmadge from Methuen, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Talmadge. That's my grandfather's first name.
Oh, okay.
That's an old English name.
Yeah, that is.
And have it as a first name is really old English. Well, Dave Spencer wanted to thank us for having Harvey Lowe on and taking the time to talk about the Shizuoka show. And he'd already seen some coverage of the show through other content creators. He was really engaged to hear how it contrasted and compared to what he'd heard elsewhere. And now he's got to convince his wife to take a trip to Japan.
Well, I'm glad, and I was fascinated too. I've met Harvey a couple of times at different shows and all, and I was really looking forward to that conversation, and it did not disappoint.
Well, he also wants us to plug and give a shout out to PatCon 2025, an upcoming show. It's going to be held 9 to 5 on Sunday, September 28th, 2025 at the American Heritage Museum in Hudson, Massachusetts.
Nice.
That's a nice museum, actually.
Yes.
So that'll be fun.
Yep.
And another Sunday show like Heritage Con.
Yep. That seems to be a Northeast thing.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
He actually sent me 2 emails. And the other one was just to let us know even though he lives in New England currently, he's from the Dayton, Cincy metro kind of area.
Okay.
So one of the things he likes about the show is we're jabbering on about shows in the region, things he's familiar with. So he's given us a burger, fries, and beer tip for Cincinnati.
Well, good.
Should we make that show in the fall? So
well, I'm trying to plan for it. I don't think I'm going to make MMSI, so I'm trying to plan for Cincy for a number of reasons.
Well, Stephen McDonald has written back in. Now, he was the one looking for the real space info. He's out of Sullivan, Indiana. And Mike Idacavage, our friend down in the Marietta, and who we also saw at the National Convention.
Yes, we did. Heck, we saw everybody at the National Convention.
We did. He's been getting more and more into the hobby, which is great. He ended up getting Horizon's 72nd scale double boxing the Mercury capsule.
Oh, nice.
Which was per our recommendation, and Mike Idacavage's probably as well. And he says he got sidetracked on a 69 Mustang Fastback he was building for his dad. And he also mentions this Model Cave hobby shop up in Ann Arbor. How do you pronounce it? Ypsilanti?
Yeah, Ypsilanti.
Up there, a lot of kits. So, I'm thinking if we go to Heritage Con again and we do what we did this year, and overnight in the Detroit area, I wonder if we need to hit this place too, because this is the place where all the kits are.
Yeah.
Michigan Toy Soldier didn't have that many kits.
Right. It's got all the other stuff.
And Stephen, I must say, you bought an eclectic collection of stuff from there. He's got all kinds of things, a 60s TV series Batmobile, a big U-boat, a 16-scale tank.
He's what we call a Renaissance man.
I think so, Dave.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a question for us.
All right.
He wants to know if we could build a highly detailed, impeccably engineered model or diorama of any movie scene, what would it be?
That's a good one.
It is, and we probably should have saved it, but we're too late now. We've let the cat out.
Yeah, that's right. We've let the cat out of the bag. Movie scene. You know what would be really good? Now, this has actually been done by a master, but a U-boat interior from Das Boot with all the figures and with the red light on. And I mean, I love that movie. That movie is very atmospheric. It captures.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You should build it, Dave.
No, I shouldn't. No. I don't need.
Got enough to do?
I got enough to do. So, how about you?
Well, let me mention. He mentioned one.
Okay.
Something from the '53 War of the Worlds movie, where the Martian war machines are giving the army the what for?
Yeah.
And another one was Slim Pickens riding the bomb in Dr. Strangelove. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's a figure out there.
There is a figure that goes with the bomb.
I can't remember who did it.
I don't remember.
Maybe more than one, but it seems like there's a Jimmy Flintstone one.
Maybe.
For me, I don't know, man. That's tough. There's so many. I could even go into sci-fi. There's some stuff from Star Wars I could do.
Yeah.
There is a couple of scenes from. Well, you could do it. The Barkhor Manor scenes in Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
Their first engagement with the German 105 millimeter gun battery.
Yep.
One of those would be good.
Yep.
There's a scene where they're crawling through the junk car.
Mm-hmm.
The rusted out car
mm-hmm.
in the junkyard on the property. That could be cool.
Well, and it's funny. Our friend Mark Copeland, because he runs tours over there, he's actually been there on at least one, if not more than one occasion.
So that's something I would consider.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of folks we met at the show, I mentioned the Arm Air chapter in Salisbury, North Carolina.
Yeah.
In a recent past episode, and one of their officers, president, in fact, and I'm looking at the email real quick of the Arm Air chapter in Salisbury, North Carolina, Sam Morgan, and this just dredged up all kinds of memories. He sent me a really quick synopsis. I guess the club is no longer in existence, and he gave me the Cliff Note version. That said, he was at Hampton, and he came by the table, and I got to meet him face to face. As soon as I saw him, I recognized him. I mean, after all these years, and I'm talking 35 years or more.
Right.
And it was the first model show I ever went to. And we mentioned Mike Idacavage, who volunteers at the IPMS Nats every year in the registration area, former club member, colleague of mine back in Tennessee. And we drove to the Arm Air chapter in Salisbury in his Subaru station wagon, 1985 or something like that. And
that's ironic given the car that we were driving. Back
yes, it is. We had a Subaru Outback ourselves for the rental car.
Yeah.
But Sam, if you're listening, and I hope you are, thanks for coming by. It's good to connect with you again and relive some of those memories. But I think I still got some trophies from that show. Good to meet you again. Well, Dave, up next is Colin Tatusco. Well, Colin writes in and talks about a recent episode we were discussing model shops in Japan and model shops on military bases in Japan.
Yeah.
Which I think came up in Harvey's episode.
Yeah.
And he was flying out of Naval Air Facility Atsugi with the Carrier Air Wing 5, and it's about an hour southwest of Tokyo, and he loved living in Japan. And there's a little hobby shop nearby run by a Japanese gentleman, and it was packed, just typical story. You know, I've got my Hong Kong stories.
Right.
And Harvey had his Japan stories.
Yeah. Tiny shop, packed to the gills, have to turn sideways to walk down the aisles.
Yes, he says it was a great way to spend some of his overseas pay, and no idea when the shop closed, but he thinks it got shut down not long after he came back to the States. Thanks for writing in, Colin. Next one's from Ireland, Dave.
Oh, good.
Paul Gogan.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent in a great email, and it all gets back to your organizational struggles, Dave.
Okay. Well, and I'm still struggling.
And I'm going to forward you this, and should we get to where we want to be on the website soon, I'm going to post what he sent there as a blog article. Well, Paul says, given your love of all things Japanese, Dave, this should tick some boxes for you in the Toyota way.
All right.
He's talking about the 5S approach and applying that to our modeling spaces. Are you familiar with the 5S approach?
Kind of like Six Sigma, isn't it?
Yes, it's a lean concept, and yes, he mentions me being an engineer, not just from being an engineer. I'd never really heard of 5S to actually work for a Japanese auto supplier.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were posters all over the place. The 5S is in English, which are kind of made to fit the Japanese definition. So they're some of them are a little quirky or corny, but they are sort, set in order, shine, which that's the odd one, standardize, and sustain. And it is a method to streamline your work process, keep your workplace clean, keep things where they are. And I'll send you this, Dave. He generated a document for us that explains all this and how you might apply it to scale modeling workspace.
I would love to see it because, man, organization is my downfall. I absolutely admit that I could get twice as much modeling done if I was organized.
So he sent an example of his workspace and talks about what he's done, and it's all applicable. You just got to do it, and you got to stick with it. That's the hard part.
Sure. Yeah. And that is my problem.
Which was the hard part at work, too.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Halliday's written in again. We hadn't heard from him in a little bit.
No.
And he'd listened to episode 144. And he agrees with my assessment of Discord. Says it's not just me, not intuitive, barely works. That could all be true, or maybe the young folks got it all figured out and it makes perfect sense. That could be true as well.
Right.
But, for me, I didn't like it. Folks who run Discord groups, I'm just haven't got there yet.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Maybe it's fine. Second, as far as turning up the heat on figure painting and the brute force of improvement through large volumes of practice, he asked if I would consider something like the bolt action tabletop game because, there's lots of figures to paint.
Right.
It's a decent idea. I just don't need another hobby.
It's the same problem with me.
Yeah, I think, that would work. They're like 28 millimeter or something like that.
Right.
So they're a little bigger than 72nd scale.
Yeah, they're 1/156th or something like that.
Something like that. But it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Other than me not needing another hobby.
I'm with you, brother. I am so with you.
Thanks for the suggestion. And finally, Dave, from the email side of things, there's somebody else we saw at the National Convention, not till late. I believe it was Saturday, Eric Curvina.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd listened to episode 145 on the drive down from Northern Virginia. And He wanted to respectfully disagree with Bruce McRae's statement about competition making everybody better.
Yeah.
He sends a pretty long email. Nah, it's not too bad, Eric, but I'm going to paraphrase here. He said that's not necessarily the case if there's not really any kind of feedback, anything meaningful coming back to the modeler after the competition.
Mm-hmm.
To understand, like Bruce said, you don't know if you're 4th or 20th.
Right.
Eric would say that competition may help some modelers progress, but others it doesn't affect at all and even alienates some from the hobby.
And I think that's true. I think competition is a really double-edged sword. I think that it can have the effect that Bruce talks about if you want your hobby to be something that's competitive. There are a lot of people for whom the hobby is an escape from that. And those folks, I don't think competition makes those folks better. I think it may drive them away from the idea of even showing up to shows, which is why I've harped on the fact, listen, shows are fantastic. People need to come. It's some of the best part of our hobby. But the competition is the least important part of it.
Eric goes on to say that it isn't competition that makes people better. It's honest and clear evaluation and feedback delivered in a way that the modeler is prepared to hear. And there are a fair number of folks out there who are not ready to hear it.
And that is one thing that they provide at the IPMS Nationals, actually two things. One, there's a seminar that they give every year, what judges look for. And then on Saturdays, they actually have the ability for you to bring your model to a table that a rotating set of judges sit at, and they talk with you about your model, the pluses and the minuses, so that if you want that kind of intensive feedback, the Nationals is one of the best places for it.
Yeah, I think the seminar, what judges look for, probably at a high level of construction and fundamentals is good, but whether folks want to admit it or not, there's some subjectivity that creeps into this. And it doesn't. That's not going to help you know why you aren't one of the top 3 necessarily. Right. If it was outside the scope of those things,
by the very nature of judging models, which are artistic creations, they don't get Buddha and Mohammed and Jesus to show up to be the judges. They are judged by other modelers. And those modelers have biases. Those modelers have likes and dislikes. And no matter how hard they are personally trying to put all that in the background, it is by its very nature subjective and cannot be otherwise.
Yeah, that's true too. It's nothing's perfect. Nothing ever will be. I think, well, here's, Eric makes a bunch of good points here, and I agree. I think, though, that the competition and contest is not necessarily the only place. Well, it's not the only place where that can happen.
Right.
So this is me speaking about my modeling journey and my experiences. And this may be rooted in my engineering training and my own technical awareness.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as contests are concerned, or model shows, even if they're not quote unquote contests, prior to AMPS, at least in the United States, and I don't know how it was elsewhere, but in the United States prior to AMPS, this feedback was not a thing.
Right.
And I don't remember anybody asking for it. Honestly, I don't. That's not me being a smart aleck. Well, I don't remember anybody asking for it. And let me finish here. Not to say that it's a bad thing that folks are asking for it now. That's not my point. My point is, for me personally, I feel like I was self-aware enough to know why I wasn't placing here or there or getting this or that. I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it.
No, I think that's true. Although back in the before times, you did have the occasional modeler who would, after a show, walk up to somebody and say, how can I get better? What can I do? And they would.
That's true.
But it was very individual. AMPS came along to provide feedback on a routine basis to everything entered. although there can be some challenges with that. And then IPMS has the what judges look for, and then talk to the judges about your models opportunities. I do think more people are seeking feedback, and I wonder if part of that is just a change in our society, that people become more open to seeking feedback.
Possibly.
So I don't know, but it's an interesting observation.
And, you know, I'll clarify again that I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's something that should not be asked for.
Right.
I like it too, but I remember a time when it wasn't a thing, and now it's a huge thing in some circles. But, you know, Eric, I appreciate your candor. I appreciate the email, and I think a lot of things you say here are correct. Competition in of itself is not the end all. That you got to get something meaningful out of it on the back end, or it's really not going to help you.
Right. No,
I can see that absolutely being true.
Yep, I agree with that.
Well, Dave, again, that's all the email. What do you got?
Well, we got some Facebook DM stuff, and the first one's from Dutch Vosberg, who encountered another one of Facebook's little joys that we encounter running the dojo. Dutch posted a post and it didn't publish. And the reason is Facebook has this thing where they will randomly, and it is utterly random. I can see no pattern in it whatsoever. Utterly randomly select a post and say, well, this needs to be reviewed because it might be spam. And it's happening to a couple of posts a day. And Dutch got caught up with one, and he DM'd me and said, hey, what's going on? I looked into it. I found out that was happening. And so I fixed it so that it would publish. And then I went on and whitelisted him. And they give you the ability to whitelist posters so that they won't get flagged as spam. But I've seen people that I've whitelisted and it still does it. It's just Facebook. And, you know, as much as I enjoy the dojo and as much as I enjoy the good things about our community and the ability to interact and show each other work and stuff like that, Facebook does seem bound and determined every once in a while just to take a hand grenade, toss it in, and go, hey, enjoy. and then it's a matter of figuring out, okay, what's going on here? How do I fix it? How do I turn it off if I can turn it off? Or if I can't turn it off, what's the workaround? And it happens. So if you post something and it doesn't show up, DM me. I'll go check the spam. I check it every day anyway, but I will check the spam filter. And if there's stuff in there, I will publish it out. So, Dutch, I appreciate you reaching out to me. And yeah, we're doing what we can. Steve Sauve from IPMS Canada, from the Great White North. I usually see him at the Nationals, and didn't get to see him and a bunch of the Canadians at the Nationals this year. But he did happen to be in a bourbon bar and thought of us and sent us a lovely shot of the bourbons on selection at that particular bourbon bar. And it's just nice to know that our brothers in the Great White North are thinking about us and when it comes to bourbon. So, Steve, I hope we get to see you in Fort Wayne. Chris Wallace, model airplane maker, another Canadian friend. He DM'd me wanting to know the results of the IPMS elections. And I told him that they're not over yet. They still have a little while to run. I think it runs through the end of August or middle of September or something. So there's still time to vote. He thought that the voting ended at the National Convention and the results would be available. That's not the case. The voting runs sometime after. So if you haven't voted, you can still go out there and vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for. Just if you haven't voted and you're a national member, please do vote. We've actually got a couple of races where there's more than one person running. So that's great. I'm thrilled to see it. So I got to tell Chris that I'll update him when the results come out. Martin Hulst out of the Netherlands. We've interacted a number of times. And he was looking at photos at the IPMS Nationals, and he saw the UPS table, the place where you could go to ship your packages home via UPS. And he said, over in Europe, you don't see that at all. And he wondered, is this new? Is it common? And I explained that due to the vastness of the U.S. and the fact that there are many people who show up to the Nationals who've come there via air, that if you buy a fair amount of stuff, it's hard to take it all back on an airplane with you. And thus, I know the UPS table has been at the Nationals, or some shipping company table has been at the Nationals at least as far back as 2004 in Phoenix, because that's the year Terry Hill shipped back a ton of stuff to Louisville when he and I were out there. But he was just interested in it just simply because there wasn't something that they see over in Europe. It's not something I would have even thought about if he had not brought it to my attention.
That is interesting.
Our good friend Bob Baer, the voice of Bob. Good news, bad news. Bob had a little car trouble at the Nationals, and frankly, we feared that it was really bad news, but it turned out not to be as bad as it could be, and he got his car shipped back down to his home and got it to his local mechanic, who delivered the good news that it wasn't nearly as bad as we had feared when talking with him. And so we're happy for him, although sad that he had to go through it in the first place. Listener Terry Wilkinson reached out, and Terry came to the Nationals and was looking forward to seeing us. Got there Tuesday traveling with his wife, and had reached out beforehand, said he was looking forward to coming by and talking with us, etc. And he never was able to come by. And he DM'd to explain that late Tuesday night or early Wednesday, his wife took ill, and ill enough that they had to return home. Now, luckily, it turned out not to be anything serious, but it crashed his Nationals plan. So I'm glad that she's okay. I'm sorry that you didn't get the Nationals experience you were planning on, but Fort Wayne is 360 days away.
Well, we missed him at AMPS too. So
yes.
I was thinking he had said he was looking forward to seeing us.
Yep.
I didn't go look while we were at the show. I was like, I thought Terry was going to be around.
Yep.
Maybe I misread the email, but apparently not. He just had to bug out.
Yeah, had to bug out and get his wife home. And I completely understand that. There are priorities, and then there are priorities. And finally, on the DM side, Bob Sarnowski reached out right after we got home from the Nats. He had picked up a PZ4, and he wanted to do it in Africa Corps markings, and the kit didn't provide those markings for it. Now, I did not inquire as to what model of PZ4 and whether that was Africa Corps appropriate. That's beyond my knowledge base. But he did ask if I knew of a manufacturer who did aftermarket, and I pointed him to Star Decals, which has several Africa Corps sheets in their range. So hopefully there'll be something that is useful for him.
Well, is that all you got?
That's it, man.
All right. Well, that was a lot. Hopefully we're caught up now.
Yes, we are.
So, folks, we're going to need some more emails and DMs, and you can email us at plasticmodelmojo@gmail.com, or you can send us a direct message through the Facebook Messenger system, or you can send us a message through the message link in the show notes. So we got 3 ways we can do that now.
Yep. After you're done listening to this, if you would rate the podcast on whatever podcast listening service you're using, please give us the highest rating. It helps drive visibility of the podcast, brings in new listeners. The other way and best way to bring in new listeners is to have a current listener recommend us. So if you know a modeling friend who isn't listening to Plastic Model Mojo, please tell them about it. Ask them to listen. Tell them how to listen. If they need help walking through the technology, walk through the technology with them. It is the single best way for us to continue to grow, and we are continuing to grow, and it's in large part down to you current listeners recommending us to your friends. So please do that.
You can also rate us on the web link in the show notes. And once you've done that, however you're going to do it, you're going to want to check out the other podcasts out in the model sphere. And you can do that by going to www.modelpodcast.com. It's a consortium website set up with the help of Stuart Clark from the Scale Model Podcast up in Canada. He's aggregated all the banner links to all the podcasts in the model sphere. It's a one-stop shop there to go find out all the things you can be listening to. In addition to podcasts, we got a lot of blog and YouTube friends out there. We've mentioned Chris Wallace, Model Airplane Maker. He's got a great aircraft modeling blog and YouTube channel. We've got Jeff Groves, the Inch High Guy, 70-second scale blog. Stephen Lee, Sprue Pie with Frets, who we saw briefly at the IPMS National Convention.
Yes, we did.
It was good to see him. He day tripped down. He's got a great blog. Also a lot of 70-second scale centric stuff. Evan McCallum, Panzermeister 36, a great YouTube channel dealing with armor weathering, with the occasional railroad subject thrown in, and hopefully gets caught up on his project soon.
Yeah. Evan's been, like you and I, Evan has been busy with life stuff.
That's right. Funny how life gets in the way sometimes.
It does.
And finally, Dr. Paul Budzik, Scale Model Workshop. You can see him on YouTube, or his Patreon link will get you to some great videos and some great insight into the hobby.
Yep, he just posted a new one not long ago. If you are not a member of IPMS USA, IPMS Canada, your national IPMS organization, please join. These organizations are run by volunteers to make all of the hobbyists' hobby experience better. And there's no better example of that than the IPMS USA Nationals every year. In addition, if you are an armor modeler or post-1900s figure modeler, the Armor Modeling and Preservation Society is a great group of guys. They are dedicated armor modelers. They do fantastic work and have fantastic shows. And their show's in South Bend again in 2026, and Mike and I are both planning to attend. So if you're not a member of AMPS, go and join.
Plastic Model Mojo is brought to you by Model Paint Solutions, your source for Harder and Steenbeck airbrushes, David Union power tools, and laboratory-grade mixing, measuring, and storage tools for use with all your model paints, be they acrylic, enamels, or lacquers. Check them out at www.modelpaintsolutions.com.
Well, Dave, while we're at the National Convention, we recorded a few bits and pieces for some content with some folks we found either interesting or companies we hadn't heard of or folks we had never talked to before. And
right.
It's kind of the way we like to do it. The first one, however, though, you've already mentioned Bob Bear. We ran into Bob early on the first day. And
this was before his car troubles.
It's just before his car trouble. So let's take a listen to what Bob had to say with us.
Well, Dave, for us, it's day one, Thursday. We've been perusing the show a little bit.
Yep.
Buying a few things and
already attended a seminar. Bought a little bit.
Starting a seminar at 9 before general admission seems a bit odd to me, but hopefully it was well attended.
Yeah, it was. It was extremely well attended and really well done. Well, it was Lynn Ritker's 109 talk, and it was and previewing his upcoming book. So it was really good.
Well, that's cool. Well, we've run into the voice of Bob, our one of our most recent guests. Bob, what do you think?
It's the Nationals, man. It's I mean, what else is there to say?
Well,
it's
and
great.
For you, it was close. I mean, how long was the drive?
It was about 5.5 2.5 hours.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Not bad at
it
all.
wasn't bad. It was raining the whole time.
Yeah.
But other than that, no. In fact, it wasn't even any traffic really. I was amazed.
No,
I was
we
really
really
surprised.
didn't have any either until we got to
Right.
up near Richmond.
Well, the stretch of 81 where you have to get on 81 for a brief period, that's
that
always
mix
really
right
crowded.
there.
Yeah.
Because I run into that going 77, 79.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Bob, did you bring anything this year?
I did. I brought one of my ornithopters, one of my
Okay.
Meng ornithopters. I didn't get I was going to bring both the Harkonnen and the Atreides, but the Atreides, I messed it up. So
Yeah, you mentioned
well.
that when we talked to you last.
yeah,
Are they
That
on
happens.
the table already?
it's on the table.
Okay, we'll have to find them. We haven't been in there yet.
No, we haven't even been in the model room at all.
Well, what are you hoping to accomplish this year at the Nationals? The usual?
Spend money. I'm hoping that I can spend money. In fact, I've already done that. Picked up a couple P40s, and there's a few specific things that I'm looking for, but it always ends up that I have this little list, and then I buy everything else.
Yeah,
except what's on the
exactly.
list.
I gave up on lists at model shows a long
Me
time
too.
ago.
For the exact same reason. I'd make a list and I'd end up buying everything but the stuff on my list.
Yeah, and honestly, it's everyone's here. All these great people are here. I mean, it's all in the order of what's important. It's seeing everybody, buying stuff, contest too.
Sure.
But it's really all about, I would come here and bring nothing. And it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's great.
I brought stuff, but it's not going to the contest this year.
Yeah, and
I was
that's
going to
great.
put it in the tire meet, but I'm like, I want people to see it and talk about it. If
Right.
it's in there, I'm not in there.
You're not
Right.
in it.
So I just brought it out here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and hopefully it survives. I don't do something dumb like hit it with my microphone cable.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to get people to stop trying to spin the propeller.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I saw a little kid do that at a show a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it's presented well. I really like it. If people, they didn't get a chance to see it. I was thinking, you guys ought to come out and look at it. Well, okay, they're not listening right now.
That's right.
Well, I need to get Wes and Bill from Bases by Bill to come by and look at it now because they made the base
they
for
made
me.
the base for it.
Yeah.
And it came out really good. I really
is
like the way
sharp.
it came out.
Well, it's good to see you at the show. I'm sure you're going to be. We're going to see you one of our evenings, and
Okay.
looking forward to spending some time over some adult beverages and talking models.
Yeah, I think that's actually probably higher up on that list that I gave earlier.
I hear you.
Yeah,
Well,
I look forward to it. I always look forward to the Nationals. I always look forward to meeting you guys face to face, and it's all a good time. That's all it's all about.
Well, hopefully we'll see you up our way sometime soon.
yeah.
That's a possibility. The show from last year. I think I might be meeting my brother there in Kentucky at
Okay.
the
Oh,
same
that
time,
would be
and we'll
cool.
get together and go over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Bob, we'll have a good national show, man.
You bet.
We'll see you
man.
around, hang out.
Yep.
All right.
Working on the lightening the wallet.
All right.
Take it easy.
Bob ended up spending some money at the Nationals just putting on model kits.
Yeah. Thank gosh his problems turned out to be not as serious as they could have been. I know when we were first talking to him and he didn't know, it was pretty depressing. So I'm glad the result came out to be better than what it could have been.
Yeah, I think that tow bill was more than I spent on the show floor, though.
Yeah. I'm sure he doesn't want to hear about that.
Well, moving on, we saw another guy who was catering to the Gundam crowd.
Yes.
And I don't get to a lot of shows I didn't get to a lot of shows this year at all so far.
Right.
But up to today or any time in the past, I've not seen any vendor beyond selling Gundam kits that was actually doing something different for the Gundam crowd.
Yeah. And it's a natural development. And this guy had 3D printed accessories and really a wide variety. And it seemed like a natural thing.
Well, Dave, we're always looking for new things at the National and get people on that we don't normally see in our normal travels. And this Gundam genre has really taken off. And finally, we've got somebody here at the National Convention that's actually doing some aftermarket for these fabulous kits. John, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing here?
Hi, I'm John. I started Mini Mech Armory and here to sell some 3D printed weapons for Gundam builders or anyone in general who thinks it fits their projects.
So were you a Gundam builder before you started doing accessories for them?
Yeah, actually, I started in like 1998 and then...
Oh, wow. It's a long time.
I was building for a while, but actually the funny thing is I started doing my 3D printing for Lego related stuff.
Okay, that's cool too.
If you actually look down at the model,
okay,
if you look at the body proportions, that's actually like a Lego minifigure.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
so, but then because you know how all the tolerances for Lego are like super like precise, I wasn't able to match that, so I kind of kicked that off the wayside. And then when I got back into Gundam building, that's when I started making exclusive parts for Gundam kits.
So where are you from?
Oh, just up Virginia.
Okay, so you're close. You don't have to come very far. Do you set up at many other shows, Gundam shows, or more other IPMS shows? Or
I've done a couple IPMS shows, mostly like in the Fairfax area, but this is the first one that's
in Northern Virginia area.
Pretty far, yeah.
Cool. IPMS has been actively trying to cater to this genre and bring it in. It's mainstream for you guys in your own world, like ours is in ours, but they've really started to cross a lot more lately. There's been a lot more acceptance, we think, in the IPMS community.
I've seen a lot of like Gundam stuff at like specialty stores for a while in like the very late 90s, early 2000s, and then it kind of died down a little bit.
Okay.
But then definitely after the pandemic, I saw a big difference in seeing it more often.
Were you a 3D printer before you decided to start 3D printing for Gundams? Is it part of your job, or did you just start learning it because you thought...
YouTube. It was all YouTube.
There's lots you can learn on YouTube.
Yeah, so I started the whole 3D modeling venture with the Legos related stuff back in 2015. It was not doing great, so then that was around 2020. That's when I shifted gears to go back to doing stuff for Gundam.
Okay, cool. Well, tell us about the kind of things you offer.
So right now, what I'd like to try to do is I'll take a design and I'll try to make it modular so you can replace out like the magazines, the optics. Okay. Maybe add don't you want a grenade launcher attached to your machine gun? I'm sure most people probably do. Sure. So I'd like to give that option to people.
So right now it's mostly armaments?
Yeah, mostly armaments. Yeah, like sometimes I'll find stuff from like old video games.
Okay.
And then I'll go, just try to get something 3D out of a 2D picture.
All right.
Yeah, just try to find like a lot of like really niche stuff that maybe you'll only find in a manga that's in like one panel and in some obscure story that maybe like 5 people have heard of. But, there's some people that really want that part. And it's like, all right, well, I'll try to make it and see what happens.
Okay. Do you have a website or an Etsy or anything like that?
Yeah, you can find me on Etsy. It's Mini Mech Armory.
Okay. Well, I'll find that link and put it in the show notes when we get this episode up. But
awesome.
Listen, good luck this weekend, and I hope you sell a lot. And it's just really interesting to see you out here.
Cool. Thanks for having me,
All right.
Michael.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Well, I hope he did all right at the show.
I hope he did.
I don't know how big, it's a growing genre within the IPMS shows, which is good, but I don't know to what degree it would be supported on the vendor floor. But he had, he had a lot of nice stuff, and he gave us a couple samples that we probably need to offload here to somebody at some point. And we'll get to that in a future episode or short or something. But really interesting to see. That was the first time I've seen like quote unquote aftermarket for the Gundam genre at an IPMS show.
And it was really well done.
It was. He's doing a good job with it. The quality was good. And it looked like it was designed in a way that would integrate well to the Bandai kits.
Yeah.
Well, the next one was another kind of aftermarket supplier, I guess, diorama accessories.
Yeah.
This gentleman had a lot of stuff, and what drew me to the table was just the quality of the craftsmanship and finish on his display items.
Yes. Yep. I mean, really, really well done.
Well, Dave, we're always looking for unique and different things when we come to the Nationals and try to showcase some of those people.
Yeah.
And we've got one, Red Wild Diorama. It's got some really neat displays at their vendor booth, and we have the proprietor here. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, Greg Vandervisser.
Okay.
Been doing modeling since I was a kid, but in the last 10 years or so, I've kind of rekindled it up and started Red Wild Diorama.
What made you decide to get into the business side of the hobby as opposed to just being a hobbyist building and all of that?
Right. So I always wanted to build a village and a diorama with a train and everything. And I was kind of a 1/35th scale guy and a train guy. So I ended up building this pretty 8-foot by 5-foot French village, all scratch built. I tried to find already built buildings with Verlinden, but all theirs were blown up. So I got the village built, and then a lot of people, my friends who were modelers and other people were like, hey, we'd like to see these as kits.
Right.
So I gave it some thought, talked to some people about how to pour resin, how to pour plaster, different things like that, and next thing you know, Red Wild is born. Yeah.
So you're doing both 35th scale and 87th HO scale buildings, barns, mostly modeled off, like you said, a French village, or
Yeah, the catalyst was European for my village, and then as I got into it, I like trains as well. So the number one scale in railroad was 187. So
Right.
I kind of started there. Of course, the S-gaugers would disagree with that.
well, that's okay.
So I wanted to diversify to cover both customer segments because I'm a fan of both, and so yeah. But the European was the 1/35th scale because of your wartime guys
Right.
here at IPMS, and the train guys are more American. But I have some European influences there.
Gotcha.
But it's also accessories and just stuff that you'd find in a diorama or layout.
And you've got both stuff that you pour out of resin, make out of resin. You've got some laser cut wood accessory items, cart, some coffins, some other stuff. Did you have any prior experience in resin casting or anything, or did you just decide, I'm going to do it?
Yeah, I think I just decided I was going to do it, and I'd figure out how to do it. You know, I saw other people's work, and I did some research. Luckily I met a train guy named Chris White. He's since passed away now, but he was making Soviet era trains, HO trains, and he taught me how to do resin pour.
Okay.
And I took that to do plaster pour. I've since moved away from poured resin. I do a little bit to 3D
Gotcha.
resin.
Okay.
I bought a laser cutter, and I've converted some of my resin parts, like wooden doors, which were resin, are now
Right.
laser cut wood. So I had learned it as I went on. I've met people who've taught me things, and I've tried to share that with others who have questions.
How long have you been even in the hobby? You said you came back to it. I asked because the workmanship and craftsmanship and finish on your product samples up there are just exquisite. They're really nice.
I appreciate it. I guess I started out as a graphic designer, like
Okay.
I'm drawing, painting, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I have a career as worked my way up to art director, creative director, marketing. So my career side kind of lends itself to the creative output, and I'm a maker at heart. So getting into this, when I say rekindled, when I was a boy, I had trains and I built models,
Right.
following kind of Shepherd Payne and the monogram models, but then that kind of went away, and I focused on the career. And now I'm in a position where I could, kind of maximize the hobby and share it with others and make a product. And there's something about making something with your hands, selling it to someone, and sharing that experience. It's different than buying an already made product from wholesale, selling it at retail. You don't get the same experience. So
Right.
I think I like that part of it.
So how long have you been in business doing the hobby as a business?
I would say about 4 years.
Okay.
4 or 5 years. I guess COVID kind of got me started into that.
Gotcha.
A lot of free time.
Yeah, a lot of free
Yeah.
time. Just hanging around. So yeah, I would say that me and every other person in the world started.
Is this your first nationals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done a couple.
I didn't think we'd seen you.
Yeah.
No,
before.
I did a regional in Richmond.
Okay.
And then another local one in Havelock, North Carolina. And then
Gotcha.
Where are you out of?
originally from Maryland,
Okay.
Eastern Shore, and then moved to North Carolina about 12, 13 years ago.
Okay, so you're in North Carolina now.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Fantastic.
So how's business been today?
It's been great.
Yeah,
I mean, I
so-
love meeting people. A lot of the vendors, the people I buy from,
Yeah.
were just, an online experience. I've befriended and
Right.
now I know by first name. So that's kind of exciting.
It is nice.
And then seeing customers who have seen your product other places or bought your product and they like it and then they say hi. It's all just a good experience. And sales have been good as well.
Great. Well, that's the goal here is to make friends and make money if you're a vendor. Both of them.
That's right.
For folks listening, where can they find your products?
So I'm online at redwilddiorama.com.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, thanks for coming over, and we like your stuff.
Oh, I
looks
appreciate
good, so
it.
we're glad to help give you a little push here. Maybe
That means a lot.
Maybe we'll send some people to you.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Interesting story. He had some nice stuff, man.
He did, and it's an interesting story, and it again goes back to show you how many modelers also have been or are model train enthusiasts as
Yeah.
well, and how the two hobbies cross over, interact. It's just really interesting.
Well, I think especially railroading and armor,
Yeah.
kind of, you got big steel equipment sitting outside, so you kind of got the same kind of vibe going there for weathering and scenery. And his stuff, he's a really good modeler.
Yes, he is.
The bottom line is that he's a really good modeler, and it's really interesting to see somebody turn that into a cottage business.
Yep.
Well, Dave, the next one is, well, a little plus and minus. The plus is it's a good friend of ours from our region, Ben Pluth.
Yep.
He was at a table behind us, right in our little corral of tables, with a longtime listener and friend of the show, Frank Blanton, who we had not met face to face until.
Right. We
Just-
had interacted with, but never actually seen.
And they were just doing some on-site building. We'd seen Ben do this before at our
Right.
show a couple years ago, maybe last year, the one I missed.
Yeah.
Maybe he was there doing it again. But
Yeah.
he carts around his modeling supplies, and he's got a couple of projects that he works on in this kind of environment. And those projects are kind of the ones he brings to the shows and works on. And they were setting up and they're working on models right on the vendor floor with the IPMS Nationals. The downside is, I don't know what happened, but I cut off a little bit of the front of this interview.
Well, that's okay.
Not-
Technical difficulty.
Technical difficulty. It's kind of been our forte here lately. We got to fix that. But this is a quick bit from Ben and Frank and what they were up to.
So, what are you working on?
So right now I'm working on the fine molds KI-43, doing it the Series 2 version, and just building it completely out of the box, and been working on this for about 2 months or so, on and off at club meetings with Model Makers Union. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I think you've gotten a chance to
Yeah, I had a
see
look.
the detail
Yeah.
on there. So
That's a good kit, but you do a good job, Ben.
getting people walking by the table, it's like really amazed. It's like, oh, that's out of the box. I'm like, yep, it is.
Well, we're behind you over there. I bought a few of my currents to set out.
Yeah, it's like, it's fun. It's promoting the hobby. It's like I'm here with Frank Blanton. It's like
Hand it over to him.
Frank Blanton with IPMS Richmond and AMP Central Virginia.
Yeah, you're a long-time listener too, Frank.
I sure am.
What are you working on?
So I picked up the 25 for 25 AFV Club M36 Jackson Tank Destroyer. Now I say 25 for 25 because it was $25 and it's number 25 in my kit stash.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my kit stash down. Ben and I were talking before the show, and he says, I'm going to be building at the show. I said, man, I've always wanted to do that. So I grabbed my toolkit. This is the first time we've met in person at this show. We've been on chat groups for 3 years now.
Yeah. So I was about to ask
And-
how that happened.
Yep, I wanted to hang out and build models with my buddy.
All right.
Mike, later on, it's like Floyd Warner was going to be joining us, but right now he's at the Reviewer Corps luncheon. So, but yeah, you'll see maybe 2-3 more people joining in here at the table working on stuff.
All right. Well, guys, I'll get out of your hair, but thanks for the quick chat.
All right.
Let Frank have it again.
Hey, Mike, listen, I've got some extra road wheels to clean. You're always welcome to come join us, friend.
No, I got my own to clean.
All right, Mike.
Well, Ben, where are we going to see you? Going to see at our show?
Hopefully, yeah. It's like I'll have a younger modeler with me checking it out. My now fiance, it's like her oldest son is like getting interested in modeling.
Oh,
and
congratulations!
How
old?
He's 15 years old.
That's not young. So is he interested at all?
He's kind of gotten the bug, but we'll see. It's like how much more. It's like him and his dad got into the hobby together a little bit, but he really enjoys it's like my work. So it's like trying to work with his dad to get to my level. So
all right, well, we'll see you in September then.
All right, I'll see you there.
Thank you,
Mike.
Well, I hope we see Ben at our show.
Yeah. Speaking of cars, on his way home with his brand new fiance from the show between Hampton and Richmond, Ben got rear-ended. Now, luckily, it was not a serious accident. It didn't disable the car or anything like that. But a bunch of us actually got caught up in the traffic backup that happened when he had that accident.
He must have not been too far behind us because it was starting to get dodgy when we were coming through there. And
yeah,
we got through it okay, but that poor guy was involved in a pretty major incident.
Yes,
not that long ago, 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe something like that. But glad he's all right, and hopefully, if it was a rental, hopefully they give him too much crap about it.
Well, luckily, like I said, on his trip to Virginia Beach and Hampton, he got engaged. And so he and his fiance were both in the car. Luckily, neither one hurt. Luckily, it was not very bad. So all in all, good news for Ben.
Well, Dave, probably one of the high points of the vendor room was the Squadron booth. Booth is an understatement.
You can't call that a booth. You can't call it a corral. It was a warehouse inside the vendor room. It's the only way I know to describe it. It was huge. It was like Brandon Lowe and Squadron had just picked up their warehouse and dropped a large portion of it onto the vendor floor.
Well, I think that's exactly what they did, and we'll just let him tell us about it.
Okay.
Brandon, it's the last day of the show, and we finally made it over here. Finally found you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for coming over.
This is absolutely impressive. You got video games. You got some big clip speakers pumping out the tunes, and I think that's maybe your trailer back there.
It is. Yeah, this is the first time we've ever got to park our trailer in our booth.
I have never seen. It's like you lifted up not just a hobby store, but a hobby warehouse.
Well,
and just dropped it in the middle of the vendor room.
We have too much fun with this. I mean, when you come here, I want people to have an experience. It's
they're getting one.
Yeah, they're getting one.
We got tanks, we got planes, we got ships, we got figures. So, I want to bring enough that we have something for everybody, regardless of what kind of models you like.
Even hot sauce, apparently.
Yeah, hot sauce. We've been working all this with shirts and hats, and it's very cool. And we're very appreciative that we have a brand that people like to support more so than just a place to buy models. They feel a part of Squadron.
So how are you going to outdo this? Like maybe a disco ball or something?
I don't know. We're already talking about it, trying to figure out what we're going to do next year, because that is what we like to do. We like to outdo ourselves each year, and it's kind of like a running joke in the warehouse. Okay, what are we going to do next time to go bigger?
I see that you managed to get Tamiya's brand new, not yet released, other than you got them.
Right.
The
new Pack 38.
5 centimeter.
That's right. Yeah, Pack 38 from Tamiya in 35th scale does not release until October. Yet you can buy them here at the Squadron booth during the show.
Well, you had a big stack of them, and there are not many left. Those seem to be very popular.
Yep, they are their new M36 Jackson. Those are already gone.
Yeah.
Just all sorts of new releases here this week that people have been pretty excited about.
Well, looks like you guys are having fun over here, but busy.
It has been a busy week, but that's good. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and you're live streaming the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, we can wave. There you go. We are, and, it's just there's a lot of guys that would love to be able to come, but they might be too far away or for whatever reason. My dad, for example, Russ, he was supposed to be here, and some things came up, and he wasn't able to make it. So it was actually his idea to live stream because he said, look, I want to feel like I'm there. So I brought an extra webcam along and set it up. So Dad's sitting over there watching all day while he, does his rest of his work. So.
Well, the next upgrade is 3 or 4 more webcams in the corners of this thing.
Yeah, we got these little security cameras.
Yeah.
Jeff wanted to do that, and I was trying to figure out how to hook those into the streaming, but it doesn't work. They have their own little things.
And they may not be as good at cameras either.
Yeah, probably not. But no, it's good. We really enjoy this, setting it up the best we can and letting everybody have a good time.
I'm sitting here looking. You've got a line 10 deep, and it seems like every time I've been over here, you've had just a line at the cash register.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the things we're going to try to do next year is perhaps have more checkouts.
Okay.
So we can get people in and out of here faster. I mean, thankfully, they don't seem to mind. We've got some good music going, give you something to listen to.
Well, that was a good idea, too.
No, the line's moving fast, but it's amazing the number of people coming through here and buying. You all brought a hobby shop. It's impressive.
It's a lot of fun. And like I said, the more we can put on display for people, the better chance I have of having what you need or what you want.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we won't keep you any longer, Brandon.
All right. Well,
and
guys,
we appreciate taking a few minutes with us, and we look forward to next time we see you. And we'll probably talk to you before then.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all great.
It's always good to see you guys.
It's always impressive to see what you got going on.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always good to talk to Brandon, and man, did they have it going on. Good grief.
If you couldn't find something in the Squadron area that you wanted to buy, you were not working very hard because, whoa, dog, did he have an unbelievable assortment of kits with a couple of game machines and his own Muzak sound system. I mean, it was impressive.
New employee Jeff Hearn was there helping out with the paints and that stuff. And folks, I just can't wait to see what he does next year because
really,
it keeps getting bigger. He's already a platinum sponsor for the convention, which is great. And that's what he did, Dave. He did bring a big warehouse and drop it on the show floor.
Yeah. And every time I was over in that area, he had a line of people lined up to make purchases. I mean, there was not a slack few minutes during the whole 4 days.
Well, good on him, and we'll see what happens. We'll see him before the Nats next year. Hopefully, we got a chance to see him at Wonderfest. We'll have a chance to possibly see him at AMPS when we get there. Both of those shows, but IPMS National Convention in Fort Wayne. If he wants to outdo himself, he will.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. How could you possibly?
Well, speaking of Fort Wayne, Dave, we have a little bit here from Mr. Figueroa from the Fort Wayne area in the upcoming convention in 2026. Sounds like they're going to have a good show, man.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Well, Dave, as of Wednesday, it is less than a year until the 2026 IPMS National Convention. And who do we have with us?
We have Mr. Figueroa, who is the show chairman, driving force, and all around big cheese when it comes to Fort Wayne and the Fort Wayne show.
I prefer Grand Poobah.
Grand Poobah.
Okay, that works.
I'm sorry, Grand Poobah.
You need a big blue hat with horns on it?
Yep.
Okay, we'll see what we can do. But what's in store in Fort Wayne, Indiana?
Let me start with the themed awards. We wrestled with these awards for weeks, and the whole team. We got a team of 11 clubs doing the show.
Okay.
And we wanted to get something that gave a little love to the traditionally underrepresented genres. So we've got Happy Birthday America, it's the American Revolution for figure guys. We got Gundam RX-78, Back to the Future, or Back to the Beginning, I'm sorry. That's for, obviously the Gundam guys. I guess RX-78 was the first Gundam. Trucktown USA, International Harvester, any International Harvester subject. 60th anniversary of Star Trek for the sci-fi guys, and the 110th anniversary of the Battle of Jutland for ship modelers.
So you got something for just about everybody. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an aircraft and armor guy. Okay. But you'll notice they're conspicuously missing from here because they've gotten the brunt of everything for 60 years. And we need to pass the baton off to younger people that are interested in other subjects if we're going to grow the society. So we're pretty happy with what we got. And like I said, we wrestled with it for a long time.
So when is the show next year?
It's the 5th to the 8th of August.
Okay.
It's at the Grand Wayne Convention Center, which is right downtown. Fort Wayne is a small city. It's 275,000, but it doesn't even have like a metropolitan area, right?
Right.
Outside of Fort Wayne is cornfields and there's little towns, right?
Right.
So downtown is like 6 blocks by 7 blocks.
Okay.
Right? You can walk from one side to the other in 20 minutes, if you're slow.
Right.
But there's so much to do down there. It's very walkable. We've got 60 restaurants within walking distance of the convention center. Anything from Arby's to Ruth's Chris. We've got the Embassy Theater right across the street, which was opened in 1928. That's where we're going to do our award ceremony. And I think that's going to be the crown, the crown jewel, right, for us. If we don't do anything else right, I think people 5 years from now are going to still be saying, oh, man, remember that theater in Fort Wayne? It's a real gem.
Now, you've got 3 convention hotels all attached by skyways to the convention center, correct?
Correct.
So that's going to open up a whole lot of rooms.
I think one of them you have to go from one hotel to the other to get across, but you can stay inside. Yeah. And the same to the Embassy Theater. You just, from the convention center, you go up the escalator, you go across the skywalk, down the stairs, and you're in the theater.
Great.
Fabulous.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Like you said, you've got 11 different clubs who have volunteered to staff and man the convention. I know you're having meetings, monthly or every 2 weeks?
Twice a month, and we're going to go to weekly meetings here at some point soon.
And you've got a promotional table out here at the Hampton convention, and every time I've walked by, it's been A, well-staffed, and B, you've had people coming by who really seem interested in going to Fort Wayne.
Yeah, we're going to be doing road shows also. Nora and I are planning to go down to Pensacola, Florida. We're in November 8th. We're going to drive down to Austin.
Right.
And we got a guy that's going to go to Seattle. And
you're going to promote at Wonderfest next year too.
Yes, exactly. And at the AMPS Nationals. So what we did is we talked to AMPS Nationals. We said, hey, if you give us a table to promote our show, we'll give you a table to promote your show.
Yeah.
So, and they thought it was great. Great
That's
idea.
Fantastic.
So, yeah,
and that's happened in the past. I remember there was a big AMPS table in Texas when we were down there in San Marcos. Yeah. Okay, are vendor tables being open for reservation yet, or when's that kind of thing going to start?
We have completely sold out the main vendor room.
Okay.
Already.
Damn.
Well, I mean, there might be one or two.
Okay.
But yeah, my vendor coordinator is a hot dog.
Okay.
The first day I told him, he said, I'm going to go sell some vendor tables. I said, you want me to go with you? And he just gave me the stink eye. I said, John, that's your job. I said, go do good things. I said, I got other things to do. He said, leave me alone. Stay out of my knickers.
All right.
And he just did a great job for us. We actually have 4 vendor rooms. They're all right in the same area. You just go across the hall, and one of them is about 25,000 square feet, the main one. We got a 10,000 square foot one and a 6,000 square foot one. And then we actually have one at the top of the stairs, which is in a beautiful, it's got glass windows, and the ceiling is kind of glass, and the sun comes in, you look right out over the Embassy Theater and over downtown. And we got 27 vendor tables in there. Okay. And it's right across from the Tiger Meat room.
Gotcha.
So that's another thing, Tiger Meat. We're live and well. We've got 65 tables for Tiger Meat. And anyone who doesn't know what Tiger Meat is, it's display only. If you don't want to enter the contest, display only. Anyone can put it up there. We're going to do a commemorative poker chip. So only people that enter the Tiger Meat will get the poker chip. We've got 2 T-shirts, a convention T-shirt and a vendor T-shirt with different designs on them. I think we're good to go. Okay.
All right. Well, I promised we wouldn't keep you. Thank you for coming over and sitting down and talking about what we've got to look forward to in Fort Wayne in 2026.
Thank you. And maybe we can do this again in 6 months or so when we get a little closer.
Absolutely.
Will.
Given that our club's involved with your volunteer corps, we would love to be a bigger part of this one.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Looking forward to it, man.
I am too.
I'm so glad we rose above our situations and didn't bail on this one.
I am so glad, and it reminded me why it's the best 4 days every year. Again, I came home depressed that it was over, and immediately starting to look forward to 2026, and especially the fact that we're not going to have to drive 9+ hours.
Yeah, and one of my wife's best friends is up there, so this one may be a good one.
Yeah.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves for 2026, what else you got to say about 2025?
It was good. Now, that's not to say it was perfect. I've never been to a convention where there wasn't something didn't work right, something. This time they're transitioning to an online registration system. And if you brought your models and didn't register them ahead of time, you registered them there, but you had to do it via the computers they had set up. And that was a little slower than I think they wanted it to be. They had some minor things with the printed schedule for seminars not matching what was actually going on. The vendor room map layout was incorrect due to some rearranging. But all that's so minor. It ran so beautifully. High compliments for the fact that they've altered the awards ceremony. And this year they were running slides of the first, second, and third winners in each category during the banquet. And then immediately after the banquet, they announced all the juniors, all of the best ofs and specialty awards, announced that 2027 is going to be in Huntsville, Alabama, and then released everybody. The model room was opened by 8:30, which is as early as I ever remember it being opened, which allowed a lot more time, because it wasn't so late, to not only get in and pack up your models, but to socialize with the other modelers that you knew and you had seen their work entered, or you could catch somebody who was boxing his work up and say, I really like this piece. How did you do this? Or how did you do that? It gave much more time for that. And that was that was one of the highlights of the show. So what did you think?
I had a great time. The Airbnb worked out great. Great hanging out with Paul Gloster and Mark Copeland and Steve Hustad.
And let's not talk about the fact that Paul Gloster transported 10 models halfway around the world. I don't know how he does it.
I had a good time, man. And I tell you, one thing I want to mention is we have some crossover with the Model Geeks, but they killed it. They were there broadcasting every day, and putting out content every day, and they absolutely killed it. So kudos to those guys. And it was great to see them. We didn't get to spend a lot of time with them this time just because they were busy. We were busy, but they did a great job. Well, that's a wrap for the 2025 National Convention, Dave. And I guess we'll get on to regular life again.
Onward and upward, man.
Bases by Bill is back with quality display bases that enhance any model. From U.S. and Japanese wooden carrier decks to custom-sized cherry hardwood bases, Bases by Bill display bases are available for any type of model and for any size. Oh, and have you heard? Bases by Bill is now a U.S. reseller for One-Man Army high-definition paint masks. These masks bring amazing detail to your model, even maintenance stencils. They have to be seen to be believed. And all One-Man Army products include free shipping. Check basesbybill.com to see the products. Bases by Bill for all your model display needs.
I was glad Bill and Wes got to see the E16 on the base they made for me.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
That attracted a lot of attention. That was one of the things that we did that we hadn't really planned ahead of time, but it really did work out. Having a couple of things that people have heard about when we talk about them on the show, actually on the table for people to stop by and look at.
Well, that one's been to Canada and it's been to Hampton, Virginia, and I think it's not going anywhere else.
Yeah, I think it needs to go in.
It might come to our show.
Yeah, it ought to come to our show.
That's a short one, so maybe
60 miles. You can do that.
Well, you're always fired up after Nats, Dave.
Yes, I am.
What's your bench top looking like for the bench top halftime report?
It looks better than it did right before the show. As everybody knows, a group that I am a part of called the Septemberists, they do a group entry every year. This year, aircraft that were stationed in Norfolk from 1930 to 1950 or so. And I was working to finish a Bearcat. I already had one model done for the display, is an F4, F3 Wildcat and yellow wings markings, which I did get to the show and was part of the display. But I was working on a Hobby Boss Bearcat in Norfolk Naval Reserve markings, and through a combination of pressure, laziness, I failed. And this happens every time. And I apologize for the language, but there's not another way to say this. I'll get rushed on a project and I will try and half-ass something. I will try and, instead of doing it right the way I know it should be done, I try and shortcut it to get it done because I'm under a time crunch. And that's exactly what happened here. I was working on first of all, I hadn't thought it out completely, and so I applied some decals that I should have waited until after I painted the tail band for. And then when I went to paint the tail band, instead of getting my micrometer out and measuring and doing it the right way, I tried to improvise it and just, that'll be good enough. It'll work. And of course it didn't work. And to the point where it ruined the model. And in a fit of pique, I did something that I don't think I've done in at least 10 years, which is I threw the model in the trash. Now, luckily I had a backup because I was building two of these F8 F2s along with one F8 F1 on the theory that I needed a backup and had it available. And if the original one worked out, then I was going to do the backup in alternate markings. But in any event, I trashed the one I was doing, but the backup one is 99% done. In fact, as soon as I got back from the Nationals, I painted the tail band on and did it the right way, masking, measuring, doing the things that needed to be done. And you know, when you're trying to take a shortcut, you always know you're trying to take a shortcut. And frankly, in the back of your head, you know it's a mistake. Now, every once in a while you get away with it, and that's a problem because that gets you thinking, oh, I can do that. But no. But I've been posting photos on the dojo. The tail band is on. I've just got to put some decals on, gloss coat it, slap the gear, the propeller, take the canopy mask off, and it's done. So it'll be in the next week or two, and then I've got to somehow hook up with Dr. David Geldmacher, the leader of the Septemberists, who has the current display, and get this to him so he can include it in shows that he goes to down the road.
Oh, I gotta laugh.
Yeah, I know. I did it.
Not at your misfortune. Not at your misfortune. I already did that. That was last.
Yeah, I know. That was that was 9 hours in a car each way.
So you guys had this display for the 2025, and you're working on the next one for 2026,
right?
And you mentioned Dr. Dave.
Yep.
And most of these guys were at the convention, so
yeah, fair number of
we got to see them all for the most part. Who participated in this build, except for Vitkus, I think. So I'm on the emails for all this because I'm like this peripheral Septemberist, I guess.
You're a member. We're going to suck you into the group build.
So so you've there's been a meeting set up to determine what the next subject's going to be.
Yep.
And I had to double check the date. September 26th.
Yeah.
A month and a half away to figure out what models you're going to build for the next convention.
Yeah.
This is what.
Yeah, I know. I know where you're going.
I love these guys, but Dave, man, this is the most eccentric bunch of modelers I've ever been around.
Yeah.
Watching you guys try to plan something is like watching an episode of the Bob Newhart show.
Yes, it is. With Larry, Daryl, and Daryl.
No, the old Bob Newhart show.
Oh, okay. Hopefully, we're going to settle on a theme where I've actually got one or more models that it might already fit into it.
But you know what happens in a month and a half?
Huh? Well, we'll see what happens.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. As an engineer, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Every Septemberist is going to have a month and a half to think about their own idea.
Yeah.
And you're going to be that much further apart.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Actually, we've been, as you know, because you're on the text or the email chain, we've already been hashing out some ideas. And I think we've probably settled on maybe 2 or 3. And it's just figuring out which of those we're going to utilize.
You settle on one.
Yeah. Well, we will on September 26th. We will settle on one at that meeting.
Okay, because it better not go one day past that.
It will not. I vow to you that's the case. Did you hear that, Dr. Geldmacher? I know he listens. So
fun to jab a little.
Oh yeah. And also, I've actually started a little work on the Special Navy KFK and 72nd scale, that just because I need something to work on when I want to build and not paint. And then as soon as the Wildcat or the Bearcat's done, the SAM goes back on the stand and it gets finished because it's 90+% finished. So I have vowed to Steve Hustad, among others, that one is next and it's going to get finished and wrapped up before the end of the year. At which point I will have 4 completed models for the year in your face.
That's fine. It's August.
I'll get there.
You got about 4 months for the dark period, as you say, sets in.
Yeah, the dark time sets in. But
so if you finished, you're going to finish the Bearcat.
Right.
You finished the SAM.
That's 3, actually. I said 4. I mean,
well, there's a couple collecting dust.
Yeah, well, there's many collecting dust. But...
Well, no, probably some of those weren't even, we weren't even doing the podcast when those were.
Well, that's true.
Started collecting dust, but.
Yes, I have a deep and wide shelf of doom.
You could clean that up and maybe get 5.
Yes, you're right. It's possible. But I want to.
Folks, push them on.
I want to see you finish 2 this year.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because the Paul got finished in January,
it's not likely, but yeah. Yeah, I got finished in January.
So all you got to do is get that KV85 done by, I mean, I'm not even going to hold you to the base. If you can get the model done.
Okay.
I'll count that one. So Mike, speaking of that, what's your benchtop look like?
I don't know. I haven't seen it in 2 weeks. I really haven't.
I know.
Even though it's right behind me, because it's literally behind me where we record tonight. But I haven't got to anything. Haven't got there yet.
Yeah, well, you came back and you dropped into it big time. Now, I did too, as far as work and, all the stuff waiting when I got back, but I didn't have to work this weekend and you did. And I actually got a night or two of modeling in this week where you haven't been able to unpack anything from having been
Not
at the
much,
Nationals.
but there's stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
One was I got an envelope from Brandon Gentry, who we met at the National Convention.
Mm-hmm.
And he had heard me talking about this nylon filter mesh I'm trying to figure out for the KV-85.
Yep.
And as he said he would at the show, he mailed this on August 11th from Indy.
Yep.
He sent me some filter meshes he had pulled out of some parts he had told me about. And I'm trying to see if it's going to work. Now, I already took one in a haste and hit it with some black rattle can to see
Right.
what it was going to do. And I don't know I didn't shake the can enough. So it all kind of beat it off and made a mess.
Right.
But he sent me several. So I gotta get those painted up and see if they're going to work. I'm kind of think it might be too fine still. Maybe not. It's close. It's real close. So hopefully it'll work out. So Brandon, I appreciate that. You said you're going to do that and you actually did it. And thanks for thinking of me and coming up to the show and tell me about it. So I appreciate that very much. The other thing that's happened is that we were able to open the box that the Musaru Cup kit came in.
What did you get?
I got a car kit, Dave, a curbside car kit.
Okay.
It's an Aoshima kit. It is an NB8C Roadster, also known in North America and maybe other places as a Mazda Miata.
Oh, okay.
So the kit as boxed is from a manga kind of anime IP. So it's got kind of that kind of artwork on the front.
Right.
It's a curbside kit again, so no engine, so you don't have to worry about that. It's the whole theme of this Musaru Cup this year is kind of the Fast and Furious kind of thing.
Right.
So this thing is a typical, God, what to call it? Exhaust delete, non-functional whale tail fin on the back, Fast and Furious roadster.
Now, what are the limitations out of the box? Or
no, we can build it and implement anything that is along that theme.
Okay.
As long as it remains like the still looks like the car, right?
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I got to get into this. I got an idea. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. We'll talk about that offline.
Luckily, it's an easy kit to build, so that won't be the problem this year.
Well, now that you have SpaceX 33 behind you, hopefully this week you'll actually in the evenings get to come sit down at your bench and model. Everyone got to see the KV-85 where it is.
Yeah, they did. Where it is currently, and it's hopefully we can push on and get that going. That's pretty much my bench right now, man.
Plastic Model Mojo is brought to you by Squadron. Head on over to squadron.com for the latest in kits and accessories, all at a great price and with great service. Are you a modeler on the go? Check out the Squadron mobile app for your Apple or Android device for easy shopping from just about anywhere. Squadron, adding to the stash since 1968.
Or get lost in their vendor booth.
Oh, gosh. This next section is called What Broke Your Wallet?
Yeah.
And on the outline, I just wrote everything.
Well, it's interesting. For varied reasons, we've both been kind of muted in our purchases of
yes.
Really since Heritage Con, since March.
Yep.
But we went to the National Convention and I was in a better frame of mind than I was at Heritage Con. The fog is lifting and some things were bought, but who's going first?
Well, I'll go first because I think I got more than you.
I think you did too.
Right before the Nationals, I placed an order with Squadron Shop for another Hobby Boss F8F because I thought I was going to have to steal the decals out of it and had it rush delivered to my house. So I've got it, but it turns out I don't need it. So I'll probably end up selling that because I don't think I'm going to build a fourth Bearcat. Other than that, we went to the Nationals, and the vendor room was great. I was relatively self-controlled. I counted it up. I bought 8 books.
Of course.
3 decal sheets, about 6 of those foam blanking, wheel well blanking masks that UMM USA has. And then I picked up 5, 6, 7 kits.
Man.
Only one of which was actually a new release, buy it at nearly full price kit. And that was the Blosch MB 210 in Romanian markings, because I'm a sucker for anything in Romanian markings. So I bought that. But the other stuff, what happened last Saturday afternoon, we're walking around and all the vendors are packing up, and some of them are blowing stuff out. And some of the prices they were asking for kits were just ridiculously low. So I picked up, I think, 4 I did find a Tamiya Zero at the show. Tamiya Zero for $10. So it was the automatic buy price. It was a model 52. So now I have 14 of those. But I picked up 4 Japanese aircraft for like $5 or $7 a piece, a couple of Fujimi kits. It would just, I mean, when they're giving them away like that, it's hard to resist it, even though I probably should, because usually I already have one of what I'm buying at home. But all in all, I didn't go crazy, but yeah, I put a hurting on to the point where I don't think I'll be buying much of anything the rest of the year. I think I'm done.
We'll see. I have to watch you at our show September.
That's right. How about you?
Well, I guess on the kit front, I only bought 3. I came back with more than that, though.
Yes.
We mentioned Paul Gloucester earlier. He had been to a swap meet in Australia and found the Dragon Cyber Hobby Gloucester Meteors.
Which are tough to find, man.
Which are tough to find. I got an F1 and an F3, so I got the 2, World War II era birds. Glad to get those. I'm a sucker for this stuff, Dave. There was a guy there selling stuff at a good price already.
Mm-hmm.
And some of this classic Airfix stuff, I just can't say no, especially when it's cheap.
Oh, and this was cheap. Doesn't begin to describe how cheap this was.
So the first one's been re-released. It's in a modern red box by Airfix, and there's also a 35th scale kit. I can't remember who made it off the top of my head, but it's Airfix 17 pounder anti-tank gun in 32nd scale.
Yep.
In the original 1980 new release box.
Yep.
Just a classic kit.
The seller had 4 of them.
The seller had 4 of them. And up until this show, I'd not seen 4 in my entire life, including 2 that were built already.
Exactly.
And this kit, not that long ago, before they re-released it, and before the 35th scale, way better kit came out, you couldn't touch this kit for less than $100.
Yep.
So I got mine for 10.
Yep.
And
with asthma-inducing mold included.
I had a big allergy attack after leaving this table. That wasn't all, though, Dave. Again, some things some of these have been released, I think. Some of them maybe not, but the Airfix 32nd scale multi-pose figures.
Yep.
And this guy had a stack of these things for $5 a pop, and most of them were still in the original shrink wrap. Same with the anti-tank gun.
Yep. And again, mold included.
Mold included. I picked up for 2 ideas. One, there's a scene from the Market Garden campaign of one of these anti-tank guns on the road firing across the river at the Nijmegen Bridge. So I picked up the British multi-pose figure set to use as additional gun crew, because there's a British multi-pose figure set inside the 17 pounder kit as well.
Right.
So that's 12 figures total. Don't need 12, but I need more than 6 to do that scene. And on this theme of getting better at figure painting, I've always wanted the Japanese infantry set from the Airfix Multipose range.
I think that's the box art that makes that one so desirable.
I think it makes all of them desirable. And should I've bought the Marines and the Germans and the U.S. infantry in Northwest Europe? Yeah, probably not. I don't know. They never did it. They never did a Russian set though.
Yeah.
God help me if they'd have done that. I'd have bought all of them. But this is a fun little set, and looking forward to maybe getting some figure painting practice and maybe a little vignette with those 6 figures. That might be kind of cool too. I bought a couple of books, Dave.
Yes, you did. Well, wait a minute. Was that the only kit you bought?
I bought another old Airfix kit. I bought a Wessex Whirlwind helicopter.
Oh, that's right. That was at the blowout phase.
That was at the blowout. I think that was $2 or something.
Yeah, it was some ridiculous price.
Wasn't much. What else did I get? Oh, the books.
Yeah.
There's a publisher called AJ Press. I don't know if they're still around. They're out of Poland. And they've done a series on the Japanese tanks. They've done one on the Panther. They've done one on the Tigers. They've done one on a lot of stuff. Trying to think what else. M3 Lee and the American half tracks.
Yeah.
Well, the Japanese armor series was 5 volumes long.
Yep.
And I walk up to this table, and not only has he got all 5 volumes of the Japanese tank books, Japanese armor books, he's got a copy of the T-34 Mythical Weapon, the old Air Connection book that was published, I don't know, it's probably 15 years ago now or more.
Which you happen to have missed when it was published.
Which I missed when it was published. There's some controversy about the book, but it's a good reference.
Right.
Maybe not singularly, but as a part of an overall collection, T-34 references is one you probably want to have. So he had that too. And all this stuff's out of print, and none of it was at out of print book prices.
Yeah.
So I couldn't remember if I had the 5th volume of the Japanese tank books or not. So I texted my son back at home and said, hey, here's what the spine looks like. Here's what the cover looks like. Pull all these off the shelf and see if I've got them all. He said, no, there's only 4 of them, Dad. I'm like, okay. So I picked up the 5th volume. So that was a good score for me.
And I'm glad that the bookseller was willing to break the setup.
Yeah, he was unsure if he wanted to break the setup, and he ended up selling the others too.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting. There was another copy of the Mythical Weapon book at the show.
Yep,
and it was at a much higher price.
Triple,
almost 3x, not
almost
quite.
3x. Yes,
2.5 times as much. And I may be mistaken, but I want to say it's the same guy who had that book at the AMP show up in South Bend.
Yep.
Year before last.
Yep.
Or last year. He ended up buying the other 4.
Yeah.
We'll see what those end up being sold for. Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, there's a lot of out of print books. It just happened to be the timing. Somebody else was there with one who was willing to part with them for, MSRP at the time of their release. So
yeah,
I picked up the Mythical Weapon for under $100.
Yep. And it's
a steal at that price.
Well, if you go by per pound, it was a real steal because that's a big book.
That is true. It's a big book, and I had to rearrange the bookshelf, but it's over there now. I bought a lot of big, heavy books this year, Dave.
I know.
But as far as the Nationals goes, that's pretty much all I bought. I, way more than I bought at Heritage Con, it's still a little reserved. I'm not buying a lot of kits right now.
Yeah.
I came back with several, but glad to have them. I'm getting quite the collection of vintage Airfix. I need to start building a few of them.
I'm going to start calling you Jim Bates.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You can't resist a classic Airfix in the old box. Well, Mike, we're almost at the end of the episode, and I can tell you that Hector Colon did us a solid by bringing Medalla Premium Light Beer from Puerto Rico. It's about 4.5% alcohol by volume, so it's 4.7. So it's a classic light beer, but it does have way more body than an American light beer. I'm not sure what the base grain is. Most American beers, it's rice. And I don't think this is rice. It's got a little more body to it. It's got a little bit more malt to it. But Hector, thank you. Very good beer. very enjoyable. Got me through the episode easy. How about yours?
Well, I finished up the Uncle Nearest 1884.
Yep.
And it's really interesting. Now, Bill, thank you for bringing this. We may have talked about this a little bit down in Knoxville a year or so ago when I met you there. This is an interesting one I've been wanting to try because of the history behind it.
Right.
Uncle Nearest is named for a gentleman named Nearest Green, who is the first recorded African-American master distiller in the United States.
Mm-hmm. He was at the Jack Daniel's distillery,
There's a connection there. A little weak on the history of that, but yes, there's definitely a Jack Daniel's connection. And it's a Tennessee whiskey. Now, what does that mean? The mash bill is essentially the same as bourbon, but with a bourbon, it goes right into the new charred oak casks.
Right. Charred white oak barrel.
When they're done distilling the alcohol. In Tennessee whiskey, there's a process called the Lincoln County process. So before it gets barreled, it goes through a filtration through maple charcoal.
Right.
And then it's barreled. And it mellows it out. And one thing it does, it kind of peels off those oak notes somehow. I don't know how, but the oak is not there. Because I think this goes into oak barrels, but something's going on there. I'm not sure what. It really mellows it out. It brings the corn forward, which I kind of don't like. So it's a little sweeter.
Right.
But this thing, it's a good sip, man. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's a quality. He didn't give you a cheap, let's put it this way. That one didn't come in a plastic jug.
no, it did not. It came in a nice bottle. So Bill, thanks for that. It's good. Yeah, I'd do it again for sure.
Yeah.
From Shelbyville, Tennessee, home of the Tennessee Walking Horse.
There you go.
Well, that's the modeling fluids, man.
Now we truly are at the end of the episode. Shout outs. God, I almost got too many, but I'll confine them to two. You got some shout outs?
I'll go first. I've got one.
Okay.
I'm going to skip the customary thank yous for all the contributors. We've got some more, and I'll address those in the upcoming episodes. But Brandon Gentry, I appreciate you remembering to send me this filter mesh, and it speaks volumes of the modeling community that we had that short conversation. You mentioned it, and we agreed that it might be worth looking into, and you actually put an envelope and sent it to me. So, Brandon, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I've got two. First is our thoughts and prayers go out to Dave Goldfinch, the podfather from OTB. He recently experienced a loss in his family, and that's always difficult. And Dave's such a great guy. We're always thinking about you, Dave, especially at a time like this. So I just want you to know that we're all thinking of you. And finally, I want to thank all the listeners who stopped by the table. I think we had more people stop by this year than any other year. I especially want to thank everybody who brought us a modeling fluid. You have stocked us well, and there's nothing I love better than trying a modeling fluid that I've never tried before.
And we got a lot of them.
But the interesting conversations we had with listeners, some guys we knew, some guys we'd met before, plenty of guys we saw and met for the first time, and it was immediately like talking with old friends. And they bring up something they heard on the podcast or something on your KV85 or whatever, and it was an immediate rapport. It was great. That I'll tell you, obviously, when Mike and I started this, we never envisioned or planned on anything like that. And I got to tell you, it has really turned out to be one of my favorite parts of podcasting is going to the National, sitting at our table, and getting to talk to so many interesting modelers, all of whom have something to contribute.
Could say any better myself, Dave. It's a good time.
It was a great time.
All right. Well, as we always say, Dave.
So many kids.
So little time. I guess we got a show spotlight to kick out, and then it's on to September.
Yep.